All right, guys, I'm back with Mark, and today we're going to be talking about building a bulletproof lawn maintenance contract. Now, Mark, can you just walk us through where guys are going to be able to find this program that'll help them do this on their own so that they're not lost right away on this? Because this is one of the paid and free functions as well of LMN, right?
Yeah, that's right. So contractors can check it out at golmn.com. So on the website, there's a really clear description of what comes with the free software, what comes with the paid version, and what those differences are. But what we're looking at today, you can absolutely get started using completely for free. We do have a limit of 15 estimates that you do for free before you start paying, but everything that we're going to use today is accessible through the free account for sure.
Okay, perfect. And what this is going to do is this is going to take the mystery out of whether a person's actually making money or not making money. So let's dive right into it. This is your home screen right here, right? This is where you enter the person's information.
Yeah, so I've just opened up an estimate just to save us the time wasted of me filling in these blanks. So we're just going to jump right into an estimate. I've got the address and the name of the customer in. And the next thing I'm going to need to do once I've, kind of got the basic information taken care of is I might want to measure the site just to get an idea of the lot size. So I'm going to click on site measure. Very easy here to use Google Measure to check the lot size overall. I might want to check for square footage or length, that kind of thing. But we built this right into the system so that you can very quickly check out lot sizes. And this is really helpful on bigger, more commercial properties where you might want to check the acreage, or if you're doing snowplow quotes, that kind of thing. But yeah, certainly that's built into the system. A map to the site is built right in as well, so you can check the drive time from your location to make sure that it's in your territory, that kind of thing. But beyond that, really, to get started on creating a quote, just like you would any other time, you kind of think of the job in terms of the scope of work. So first off, I'm going to click on the services and pricing, and I'm going to start to build my quote. The first thing I'm going to do is just add a service. The service type that I'm going to add first, I'm just going to think of it how I would normally, and this is mowing, and I might want to price it per visit or per season. In this case, I'm just going to do a per season quote. And then I'm going to say over the course of the year, I'm going to cut 26 times, for example. And this is different in every area, obviously. The division is grounds maintenance. So I've kind of got the basics in. Now it's important for me to add the items associated with mowing. So in the estimating library, we have things broken down into some simple categories, and they're kind of the way we work as contractors. There's labor, equipment, material, subcontractors, and then we have what we call templates that make it a little bit easier and faster to price things that we do on a regular basis. So if I look through my list of templates, I can find one that will help me quote a project like this faster, or I can build it myself if I've never done that type of work before. But in this case, residential mowing is pretty standard. I've got a template. I'm going to click that, and it's going to ask how long the property is going to take, and it's going to kind of prompt me to decide for myself what that timeline looks like. So if I think the crew is going to be on that property for a half an hour with 2 people, then it's 1 man hour in total. And maybe if the crew truck is going to be there for a half an hour, but with some drive time, maybe I round it up to an hour. It's going to kind of put that price out like this. And so here's the components for the year, but up top what it's saying is this is the price per visit. So I know I'm charging $38.45 per cut. as a cost, and then my price to the customer is actually 74.18, and that's with a 9.8% profit. And I think this is where often a lot of contractors aren't clear on what their cost per visit is, what their break even is after they've covered their overhead costs, and then what the profit is to the customer.
So their break even in this case is $66.90. Where do you come up with these numbers? Where is it being generated from the templates, Mark, or how are we figuring out the break even? Because that's different for everybody.
It is, and that's why we always recommend, and the budgeting software is completely free, but that's always why we recommend that you start using the software by building a budget. Once you've built your budget in the system, and we did cover that in an earlier video, that allows all of these numbers to be unique to your company, so that when you have a look at the analysis of a job, you can really see your cost of doing business and your price to the customer and your profit. Because I think often contractors make the mistake of just kind of charging what everybody else charges. And that may or may not be the right price for your company. And when you sort of make those sort of guesses in terms of pricing, what you're really doing is guessing whether or not you're going to be profitable at the end of the year.
Yeah, and here if we can we actually do real-time monitoring with this software, Mark, where like after the guys mow, we can punch in where they were at so we can know if we have to adjust our price up or down or where we're falling at right away instead of going through a whole season. Going, wait a minute, I should have made 9.8%, but really I'm making 3.4. What's going on? Where if you can adjust it right out of the gate, yeah, you may lose a job if you got to raise your price, but you're not working for free all year long. Is that a possibility?
It absolutely is a possibility. And so what happens with our estimating software is it transfers into your time tracking software. And you'll see here up top, because we built the quote in the system, it tells us that we've got 26 hours for this contract for the year for these 26 cuts. So each time we stop in and do a cut, we're going to clock in and out. So anytime throughout the year, we can look and see how many hours we've spent on each project. And we can also see if we're on track to make a profit. Because, you know, if I roll up here to my analysis tab and I click analysis, this kind of breaks the job down for me. And it says some pretty interesting things. First off, it tells me that this estimate is going to produce $74 an hour in revenue. And that's including my overhead, my truck, my trailer, my mower, the labor. So I've got $74. And up here, it tells me that if I do this mow job for the whole year, my price is $1,928. My cost of goods sold, so the cost of my equipment, my labor, all the things that it's going to take to do the job is just under $1,000, which leaves me a gross profit of $928. And this is where a lot of contractors get excited and think they're going to make $1,000 off of every property that they service. The reality is there's a long list of overhead in every company. And sometimes small contractors think they don't have overhead. But in reality, it's usually even a little bit higher because there's always these costs that creep into our businesses like internet and phones and advertising costs and uniforms and all these things that we do in our businesses that add up. And at the end of the day, we have to pay that before we calculate our profit. So what the system is telling us here, based on the actual budget of this company, is our overhead is 739, which makes the break-even cost of doing this mow job 1739. And at the end of the day, we're only making $190 in profit from this job. And I think it's worth knowing this information at the start of the year, or knowing this clearly about your business, rather than always wondering why it's not as profitable as it should be. So you can imagine if I did 100 of these properties and I'm only going to make $189 in profit on each one, I kind of know what my maximum profit potential is for the year. So it really kind of clarifies your business very quickly on a job by job basis when you look at it here within each estimate.
So this also you have tracking software, like, so you route, this software can route from one job to the next job. This is the estimating software, but in the routing, do you actually route it beforehand to get the amount of time that you spend? Because you're allocating for your truck, and that's where a lot of guys go, wait a minute, why are you allocating for your truck? Well, yeah, you got to allocate for your truck. It's not free, I've heard. I mean, I've never been given one yet, and I've tried.
Yeah, no, you're completely right there. So we do like to quote our projects with the labor and the equipment, and the reason for that is twofold. First off, we want to make sure that we cover all those costs and that we're charging the customer enough money to recover those costs. But then when we track the crews and track what's happening, it's really important also that we know what components were put into each job so that we can assess the profitability. And that's called job costing. And what our system does is as you track the work through the routing and timekeeping software that you referred to, that's all app-based, of course, on the phones. But as the crew or you, if you're an owner operator, go through your route and you do the work each week, what's happening is we're tracking how long you're at each property. So then what you can do is run reports to see if you're actually getting the work done the way you estimated it. And if there's a problem, then you can either go back to the customer and try to increase the price a little bit, or in some cases you may have to walk away from some contracts that you have if that's not possible.
Is that just
Because
on this
you know,
program, Mark?
does it do it here on this program? Yeah, absolutely. It's all connected. You've got time tracking, which is app-based, and you've got budgeting and estimating here, which is all web-based that we're looking at right now.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So field workers have access to time tracking and routing through their cell phone or a tablet, whichever you prefer.
So the field workers have it, but they also have the amount of time that they're allocated toward every project, right? So they can look at where they're at in the day and go, hey, wait a minute, I better speed up. I'm a little bit behind on my route. Is that right?
Yeah, that's absolutely the point of it. So our scheduling software takes the number of hours from here in the software. So for example, here on this property, I've said it's 1 hour for the crew. So the scheduling software knows how many hours per day you work. So if we work an 8-hour day and we take a 1 hour lunch, we only have 7 hours of production time. And depending on, some contractors like to price drive time in with the work. Some like to kind of allocate for it separately. But if you have a 7-hour day and you think you can work in 5 or 6 of these properties, depending on your route density, as you schedule that route out, it's going to put it in the best and fastest order so that the crew drives the most efficient route, and the app will allow them to access Google Maps to do that. And then it's going to tell them when they get to each site how long they're supposed to be at each site. So it kind of keeps them on track and really makes the field worker aware of how many hours the estimator or salesperson allocated to do the work. And I think when you do that, you kind of bring both worlds together in the sense that the person pricing the work and the person doing the work fully understand what the other was thinking, and then the likelihood to make profit, it obviously goes up exponentially because everybody's on the same page. And in most companies, unfortunately, the people doing the work don't always find out how long they're actually supposed to be there. So they guess. And when they guess, they often guess wrong.
Yeah. They always guess a little higher than what you figured into it. They take a little longer.
Yeah, and naturally, I think, if you're not really well aware of the actual costs of doing the work, inevitably, I think a lot of times employees think that there's more profit in the job than there is. And you can see here when I brought up that analysis, there's not a lot of profit here at the end of the year on a mow job like this. You got to be very efficient. If the hours are running over all year, then that 189 turns into zero profit or worse very quickly.
Yeah, don't break a window. That's what I see right there, Mark.
Yeah, exactly. You're one mistake away from losing money. It's a tight margin for sure. This type of work specifically.
Okay,
Um,
what
yeah.
else?
So
What else should we
once
know about
we
software?
Well, I mean, on estimating, just kind of keeping it light here today. Once we've quoted this out, the next thing that we need to do is obviously send our customer a proposal. So I can do that very easily here by just going up here, and I can create a custom report, or I can use a standard report that's in the system. I'm just going to keep it simple here and use a standard report. But when I produce that report, I can email it, print it, do whatever I like. And here, what it is it's a predefined proposal. As contractors, you put your own logo into the system, you just import it in, and it automatically updates on these forms. And then what this allows you to do is send a really nice, clean, professional proposal to your customer. If you have we have some nice sample terms and conditions and things like this that you can modify on your own, or you might already have some that you can add to the system very easily just using a cut and paste. But this is a very simple proposal, being just a Mo job. And here we've got the price. In this case, I've got it set to 12 payments. You can quickly change that to 5 or 7 or 8 payments, whatever you'd like. And you're going to send that off. And then if the customer approves it, you can do one of two things. You can mail or email them invoices every month through the system, or you can now use our customer portal where they can actually log in, see their account status, and make their payments automatically through there as well, using our credit card processing system that's built right into the software.
So the last thing I heard, we had a little technical difficulty, but the last thing I heard from Mark was that this system takes it right from measuring it onto the site. You can sit on your laptop, to going right into a proposal, to generating the route, to doing the entire thing. And then it gives you real-time feedback to understand where you're at after you do your first or second mow. You can put the numbers in it and analyze where you're at in real time versus projected. Is that right, Mark?
Yeah, that sums it up nicely.
All right, perfect. Is there anything else we need to cover on this one, or did we do this one?
I think we're good for today. I mean, that gives a quick overview of estimating and kind of allows your viewers to really understand what LMN has to offer in terms of estimating.
Well, the thing that may come up, the question is, well, where do you come up with your numbers for the hourly rate? Well, that's something that these guys punch in themselves. And we did the budgeting, video, and that helps these guys to set the numbers so that they know what to punch in to all the different components of their job. So this is kind of what you and I are going to be doing. It starts with one and then it builds off from the other ones. Now this one is a mowing contract. The next one we're going to be doing is a hardscaping one, which is a lot more complicated. It's got a lot more moving pieces, if I understand, if I'm following along on the schedule right. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna do a little bit more in-depth installation project next, so that I can really kind of show you how it really sets the goals for the crews and how it really kind of allows you to operate more efficiently as you start to build those installation prices and projects.
Oh, perfect. All right. You guys can find this at golmn.com. Mark, is there anything else you want to tell these guys what they can expect? Like, I do know that Mark probably won't say this, but I knew, like, even when you do your free trial, they give you your own customer service representative. It's kind of crazy, to be totally honest with you, but it's also kind of completely honest. And it's a good way to get guys familiar with this system, because it's probably one of the more in-depth systems that you're going to have out there, but it also gives you real-time feedback real-time reports. This is the kind of stuff that you're no longer scratching your head at the end of the year going, why didn't I make money? Because almost every guy I know, there's so many of them out there, a lot of guys have had that scenario once in their life, and we're trying to eliminate that. It's a horrible feeling trying to owe the IRS more money than you have in your bank account. And there's a reason why that happens once in a while, and we're trying to eliminate that. And I've been there. So this is why I'm doing this. So thank you, Mark. I know this was our 4th attempt at this, so I thank you for your patience on this thing. Guys, behind the scenes, Mark and I have tried to do this 4 separate times, and we have not had successful internet problems or connectivity issues or whatever. So I really thank you for coming back, Mark. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks a lot, Stan.
All right. God bless you guys. Go get them, and we will catch Mark and I on another one where we go deep on a hardscaping estimate. We'll see you on that one, you guys.